Alrighty guys, now in the last video I had a Pioneer CTW-205R that I bought from eBay, like a new deck, but unfortunately I had to return it actually because it started chewing up tapes, and I did say in my video that I was going to be trying to replace the belts on it, but actually I had a look inside it. Replacing the belts seemed not worth it really, because you had to unscrew a load of the mechanism, and I'm nowhere near confident of doing that without breaking something, so I just figured I'd just send it back for a refund, which I did. And I decided to splash some cash on an actually new model cassette deck that only just came out last year, and that is the Teac W-1200, the consumer grade version of the Tascam 202 Mark 7. So we're just going to just be unboxing this bad boy and just having a brief look at it, and I may do a more in-depth review later. I know there's already one or two videos on YouTube about the set deck, but I just wanted to give my own personal sort of like overview and review. So let's just get the unboxing out of the way. You see it's shipped in this box, cardboard box with just like just turning that round for reasons. So let's see what we get in here. Just the receipt for so here we have a remote with some audio leads and batteries for it, and of course the cassette deck itself. There we go, finally that part of the video will be sped up in editing because that took way longer than it should have. Alrighty then, so let's have a look at this bad boy. It's the Teac W-1200 double cassette deck. It's a new model, as I said, so I'm not having to potentially be wasting time and money on used cassette decks on eBay. Oops. This camera's kind of it kind of focuses too much. So we have some really good cool features on here. We can actually record on both decks, and you can actually record to two at the same time. And it has the logic controls like on the on that Pioneer that I got. It's got a microphone, phone inputs with adjustable levels. The deck one has a pitch control, so you could use that to make a recording either slower or faster, and you could probably play that back, and it'd be higher or lower pitched if you want to have fun. There's there's a dubbing thing, but I don't actually know whether it dubs like which order, since both decks can record. Would it dub from this to that or that to that? I'll have to look at the instruction manual rather. There's a return to zero where there's a counter that comes on, and it'll fast forward or rewind until it gets there. Repeat, which I think it plays a section of tape backwards and forwards like continuously, and big recording control knob there. You rewind, fast forward, stop, and all that good stuff. And it also has a USB thing on the back to record your tapes to digital, and there's a noise reduction here and a timer feature for turning on the power externally, so it can start recording or playing and power's applied externally. Nice soft eject doors. focus. And it's got your typical Tanashin tape mechanism in there, but it's they're quite reliable. They're like more complicated decks can have problems with them, like the auto reverse can knock the heads out of alignment, and also inside the belts are really easy to replace. And yeah, this bad boy looks pretty cool. Now just going to set it up and we'll show a brief sample of a tape playing, and I'll have to do it very slowly because I don't want to get copyright striked. Okay, and I've just got all the things off it now. I've got the remote here, I've installed the batteries in it, I've got the auto cables out. We'll just have a brief look at the back of the deck. We have your line in and line out jacks, USB output, the typical warnings, and the permanently attached power cord. So now we're going to actually power this bad boy up and see what it sounds like. Alrighty then, let's power this bad boy up. The display says W-1200 and then the counters appears. And now let's grab a tape. I know I'm going to get fucking copyright strike just for playing some examples of how this deck sounds, but I'm not doing these videos for money or anything, it's just for entertainment. So let's just grab, this is my high-speed duplicated tape from my one of my dubbing videos. And hit play. Oh, thank God, this actually isn't some copyrighted music. You can see the level meters going. This is some music I recorded off the Midnight Club 2 soundtrack. I absolutely loved that game back in the day. That changes the brightness of the dimmer. Let's just pause it. I think the dimmer setting may actually make the LCD screen last longer, because the higher it is, it'll probably burn quick. Probably dim more over time as the LEDs work. So that's probably what that's for. Let's try fast forwarding. Rewind. And that was us, and let's do a return to zero. And it stops when it reaches the 0 point. So that's the number 1 deck. Let's try the number 2 now. There's also a noise reduction. You can hear the tape hiss. Let's just. And that's pretty impressive, actually. The tape hiss is virtually eliminated, so you get a very clear recording. I don't believe this is Dolby noise reduction, because Tascam actually, Dolby no longer licenses the Dolby noise reduction. So I don't believe that that's actually is a thing anymore. But I do believe there's still dynamic noise reduction, which I believe this deck has. Yeah, so both decks seem to be doing fine. One thing I forgot to demonstrate is just the pitch control on the deck 1. So if we start this playing, we can vary the speed. That's it playing faster. Now that is totally vaporwave as fuck, man. Oh yeah, now this is hot shit. And put it back to the standard. So yeah, overall I'm quite impressed with how this deck functions. Said it's a new model, so it will last a long time, unlike used cassette decks that you get for... They may have like better specs and everything, but yeah, reliability and servicing will be an issue. So I'm hoping this deck will last me at least 10-20 years, what older decks did, obviously, when they were new. So yeah, that's just been a brief overview of the Teac 202. No. This is the Teac version, Teac W-1200, and may do like a video later of doing a recording test, because I currently do not have any blank tapes to actually record on. But I might give a demonstration of the parallel recording, of like recording on 2 tapes at once. So yeah, that's just been this little video of the Teac 202 Mark 7. No, sorry, I'm the Teac W-1200. I'm stupid. Bye. Oh yeah, one thing I just forgot to demonstrate is the remote. So let's just see if that does what it's supposed to do. Oh yeah, I forgot to put a tape in. Yeah, these types of decks don't actually function if there's no tape in. So now let's go. So playback, stop, fast forward, rewind, and pause. So that's the tape 1. Now let's try the tape 2. Now these have to be very brief, because I'll get copyright strike if I do. That's playback on deck 2. Fast forward. Rewind. And that's the remote features. Well, most of them anyway. And the dimmer, moving through the different settings, and yeah, that's the actual end of the video now. So see you in the next video where I may do a few more things with this deck.